Welcome back, everyone. You're listening to Folks and Friends, a podcast by Folks Finance. Here, we invite the brightest builders, creators, and thought leaders to talk blockchain, tech, finance, and everything in between. I'm your host, Ibu Kurel. Let's learn something together. Assets discussed on Folks and Friends may be held by participants of the podcast. This podcast is purely educational and not intended as advice. Enjoy the episode.
Welcome, everyone, to Folks and Friends, Episode 7. My name is Ibu Kurel, Head of Partnerships at Folks Finance. We are a DeFi lending protocol and DeFi suite on which you can lend, borrow, trade, on-ramp, and yield farm. This is a podcast that we host to get partners and other cool projects in the Web3 space up on a platform, hopefully introduce them to our community, hopefully introduce us to their community, and just learn a little about each other and what everyone is doing in this world of Web3. So today, super excited to have XaXa here. Hope I said that correctly. If not, please correct.
Yeah, it's correct.
Great. So super excited to have XaXa here from Ultiverse, which is an NFT project and metaverse building on Binance Smart Chain. So I just want to say welcome to XaXa and Ultiverse, and can't wait to have a nice conversation today.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, thanks for holding the space for us. So just a bit of self-introduction myself as well. I'm the business development lead for Ultiverse, in charge of partnership and collaborations. Of course, have been with Ultiverse for about 1 year plus now. And I think Ultiverse has been leading, in this project for about 2 years plus. And I think there's a lot of things going on. So I am happy, to share these details, with XAlgo community. I know we have not really sort of worked with much algorithm projects, except for probably 2 to 3. But yeah, happy that you guys are going on to BNB Chain as well. Yeah.
Right. Just as you said, we are expanding the governance offerings to BNB Chain with XAlgo, and Ultiverse was one of the first projects that we were connected to by Dan Un, head of DeFi at the Algorand Foundation. So shout out to Dan Un. So yeah, today we're going to be talking about, the industry, Web3, NFTs, gaming, the crossover of DeFi and gaming and what that could mean. So first, I would love if you could give us an overview of Ultiverse and, how would you describe it to our audience who may not have heard of it before?
Yeah, sure. So I think when we talk about Ultiverse, a lot of people come into mind that, what is Ultiverse, right? So if you think about it, it's actually a AAA metaverse built on Unreal Engine 5. And I think when they first started off the project, people were super excited, about joining what the metaverse can be, as well as, joining the game, which we are planning to so-called launch at a later date. And it's actually called Endless Loop. So we actually did one of our metaverse launch on January this year. To explain it in a very, very short summarized term, right? I would just term it as a Ready Player One metaverse, the ones you see in the movie where anything is possible. Of course, we are just built across MetaFi, SocialFi, DeFi as well, all integrated into one. So you can see a metaverse that has full of different cultural experiences, different games, different kind of concepts, all built in a AAA setting. And in this case, it's all high graphic content. So like example, if you have a car inside, if you have avatars inside, it is a very, very clear distinction, across the whole area as well. We are not in comparison like Sandbox, Decentraland. We are building on our own. And the graphics also sets a good example on how we can actually use it as business models, or to show cosmetics of different kind of brands, clothing brands, etc. Into our metaverse. And I think what's most interesting, during alpha launch is that you can actually see the Binance building, right beside another completely different non-related building with them. So you can think of this metaverse as a very messy place, but also with its own kind of how do I say recognition of course of the graphics and content is one of the major factors that plays a part for Ultiverse, because we want to deliver high-end product. However, of course, the truth is that with that, we definitely need good computer specifications. And that's just one part of the metaverse itself. So during this first showcase, we actually managed a few things. We showed that you can actually play poker inside the game as well. You can actually show your avatars, and perform different kind of actions. You can purchase NFTs at the art gallery, etc., etc., and of course the scenes. That is just one of Ultiverse product, and that's the metaverse itself. It's called Terminal City. We are expanding with Outer Lands. This Outer Lands acts somewhat as similar as what Sandbox Decentraland is doing. So each owner will have own control of their lands, and they will be able to sort of like utilize their lands for their own use. That is the second phase, I would say. And we had the third phase, which is the MMORPG called Endless Loop. So this is just the AAA portion. Other than that, Ultiverse is also doing different stuff. We act as incubating space for new games, such as we actually announced I think about 3 to 4 months ago, where we have launched our SDK with these 3 games that we bought at the games, as well as MetaMerge. So each different games have their own different characteristics. Some of it integrated with us, like using our IP towards their game. Some of them actually incorporate their game into us and have their own game as well. And of course, some of them will probably be merging their game into our Terminal City, or maybe even Endless Loop. So all of these things is part of Ultiverse product as well. We call it our Ultiverse SDK. And of course, we still have AI companion, which we recently launched at about last year, December, which is called Moonlight NFT. This Moonlight NFT, probably we will showcase the usage of AI integrated into the avatar. There's actually a website that you can access for it. You can actually speak to it right now. You can dress it, etc. And there's also different chains along with it. So like our recent announcement with Linear, they actually can sort of dress the avatar, and that it incorporates and shows what are the things you can do with blockchains, as well as different kind of industries. And one of the last product I would say is sort of like a Binance Live, which we incorporated with us. We have Ultiverse Live. We incorporate Binance Live, Twitter Spaces, YouTube, Twitch, etc., etc. This is a space for people to learn more about other projects as well as Ultiverse. And I think I would say that this concludes, exactly what we are currently building right now. But there are still a lot of things that's coming up.
What would you say that metaverse means to you, or metaverse means to Ultiverse? It's a complicated term. There's a lot of different definitions. Usually the definition has to do something with an online area, online hub for a community to gather. But you're also telling us about different ways that people can interact with Ultiverse, whether it be using the SDK to incorporate their own game, or launching their own products within the game. So what does metaverse really mean to Ultiverse in a larger picture?
Yeah, so I think that's a very good question. So basically, I think everyone has different definition of metaverse, right? Like when I ask my friend what a metaverse is, they will say, oh, okay, my metaverse is example like it's just a gamified space for me to interact with people, right? For me personally, I think I see a metaverse as somewhere where you can socialize in, where you can do different kind of stuff, and you can actually sort of interact with the elements inside. And of course, there are 100 different kind of terms for metaverse, but I think for Ultiverse, during our first launch, let me just explain a little. We realized that under a AAA setting with high computer specifications, actually denied a lot of access into different huge communities, as well as different aspects of different world locations where they may not have the technology, or they may not have the so-called the capabilities to actually access a AAA game. And in terms of that, our vision sort of changed from there. We are still building on a AAA metaverse. We are still going to stick to a concept, but we are also prioritizing accessibility into our metaverse. So having said that, right, there were two things that we learned during the launch. One, numbers were very important, right? So even though a AAA game was sort of pretty important as well, where you have good graphics, you have good content, but without the number of players being able to access into a metaverse, is practically not as useful as I would say, and that was why sort of we actually held another event on March, and the turnout for that metaverse event was way bigger and greater than the first one. So during this event, it was a learn and earn event. It was much more smaller. It was much more simple. But everyone had access because you could use lower end laptops. You could use a computer, and in some cases, you can actually use your phone to actually look around, but not to interact. So in that case, that's number one point that we learned. Number two point that we learned during this metaverse event, with a metaverse inside, you need a ton of things to be interactive, for your players. So example, during our first launch, you could do a few actions. You can actually speak in the metaverse as well. You could converse. You could actually run about, jump. You can purchase stuff, NFT that's linked to a blockchain. You can even play Texas poker. And I think that was not sufficient. And that was why we also understand that that the metaverse needed much more products inside. Not just the initial, few that we planned, not the amount of 10 or 20 games. We probably need like more than 30, 40, 50 things, and progressively increase as we expand for people to do. And the SDK actually sort of helps this because I think a metaverse, you can't build it on your own. You probably need the help of other design studios, other game design studios, other NFT projects, other communities as well, all coming together into one space. And I mean, that's what a metaverse is all about, right? So like we first said, a metaverse is like somewhere messy where you can actually explore, you can find different cultural stuff. Maybe someone from Ukraine is doing something over there, selling their business, selling their game, etc. And maybe you have another one right beside it, some maybe a Singaporean doing their NFT project beside. And I think the metaverse is just something that nobody can explain. It's just a place which communities come together to create, and community comes together to sort of like interact with. And with all these different kinds of owners or people sort of contributing towards this whole ecosystem, that will actually create a metaverse. However, Ultiverse obviously have to provide the means and accessibility to these people to create this vibrant metaverse where people can sort of enjoy, spend their time in. And even though it's tough, I think the Ultiverse team has been actually doing a very good job. Behind the scenes, I do see a lot of things happening. They are still working with people who are like doing drones, doing some VR capabilities with cameras, etc. But of course, all this was not really showcased to the community as well. I think the communication there is not as much, and I think today is also a great chance, during this podcast where we share a little more details of what Ultiverse is trying to do. And also recently, I think in Malaysia, they did some partnering work where they actually have a headset as well as a VR handle where they can actually sort of like move around in the metaverse. And yeah, I think hopefully that answers some of the questions. If anyone have any questions later regarding this, they can also sort of ask it as well. Yeah.
So it's intended to be an open space where anything should be possible, and it just is a place that exists in a digital realm.
Yes, correct. And it will take time. I wouldn't, I would deny it would actually take time for this to become really great. But I think, yeah, with time, definitely a lot of things is possible, especially once we get everything going. A lot of work is done behind the scenes, but it's hard to explain it all. And they will, once they are ready, of course, a lot of things will be shared. But right now, the focus is on the SDK, is on also the game integration with other partners as well. So yeah, that's what we are doing right
now. Where do you guys take inspiration from when thinking about how to design your game, or, you're on the business development side, so how to gain adoption of your game? Maybe you can comment on that, but what other games or projects, companies, things outside of gaming do you take inspiration from and maybe would try to recreate some of their success?
Okay, so the initial thought was, of course, this project started with the impression of Ready Player One, right? Where it was cyberpunkish style, and we all try to make this super cool metaverse where people can interact on. But as time goes, right, we understand that there are different needs in different aspects of the game. So I do not sort of say that there's a definite, very, very, very absolute route. We are also, sort of learning as we go. We have a game plan in mind, general direction, but with the different situations in blockchain, the different technology in blockchain that is constantly moving, such as AI coming in, such as other important stuff coming in. Like we talk about Apple Vision. They have their products coming out, updates of products, update of what is possible to do and what is not possible to do, and what is easier for the normal public to access. All these changes, as you go. So what the team does, I would say, as we learn, as we understand our holders, some of the holders might be happy with the product, some of them might not be, some of them might want us to go to a certain direction, just focusing on a AAA metaverse. Thus, once, us to onboard more players to let more people learn about Ultiverse. So it's all different things, but what we are trying to do is just trying to make sure that we are making both sides happy, trying, right? So at the same time, making sure that we are giving value, to these people that have already sort of grew with us over a long course of period. And having said that, of course, we are focusing towards super accessible product at the end for mass adoption, but at the same time trying to maintain a standard of a AAA game setting, so that in the future, if businesses or maybe even legal entities, etc., do want to work with us, they do not get sort of disappointed with the product. Because I think right now in blockchain, I don't want to make such comments, but right now, comparatively to traditional games or traditional products, we are still a bit off course. Like, we are not on course of a very, very good game direction. And I think Ultiverse is trying to stay on track using that, but at the same time, adding a lot of different kinds of elements as well. So like Cyber at War, which is a good example, is a billiard game, right? What we're trying to do is not only just by doing a billiard game, we hope that in time to come, we can bring the billiard game into the metaverse. That might be a possibility, that it might not be, but at the end of the day, think of it, the end product will be somewhere where you can do a lot of different things. Like personally, I've tried to push chess into Ultiverse. But so once all this is up, businesses can sort of utilize this space. Once we have the players, that they can utilize this space, to showcase their product. So, example, in the Ultiverse metaverse right now, we actually have a car sitting down there. People can actually exhibit their car if they want. Let's say we work with a car brand, what we know, whether it's Porsche or whatever, etc. And they can showcase their engine sound, their model of the car, etc. And we're putting it in the core central of the terminal city. So once they log in, it's straight away they will be able to have this number of players understanding, hey, there's a new car out in the market, etc. And of course, that's just one example. We can do, merch, like, maybe one day Gucci wants to, put their clothes in the metaverse, can do a fashion show, we can do music festival. Music is also already integrated in the metaverse as well. So these are such examples. Of course, it's going to take time again. Once again, I want to explain, to everyone in the community, but I think the focus is there. I was actually also very excited, to see that they were doing a conversion of sort of like a real human model. They were working with another project to do a conversion of real human model into a metaverse setting. So that's one of the things that I'm looking about and exploring with them as well. Yeah, so tons of stuff. Yeah, maybe I could have dragged on too much, but yeah, that's what I wanted to say.
I definitely see what you're saying about blockchain gaming needing more time to meet the same standard as traditional gaming. Why do you think building a blockchain game is so much harder than building a normal game?
To put it simply, I think the blockchain space is under a lot of scrutiny. So basically, if you tell people, let's say you have 10 friends, right, at the age of maybe, let's say 30 to 40, 5 of them would not even heard about blockchain, right? Maybe out of 8 of them would not, out of 8 to 10 or 8, maybe even 8 of them would not understand what blockchain is, and maybe 2 of them would understand what is the basic definitions of blockchain, what's NFTs like, etc. But they do not know what each chain does. So out of these 5, right, perhaps 5 of that, that means half of them actually thinks that crypto, is not something that is approved by the authorities or approved by the countries of certain countries, etc. And some even look at it as a scam, and they will not even sort of touch the ecosystem. Never even bother to learn about the ecosystem and what blockchain actually does. So all these things definitely pulls huge fans around normal people, normal gamers as well. They wouldn't even want to, sort of enter into this space because of the bad impressions and news that they have heard about. And I think that is one of the things in this space as well, that there are indeed a lot of, bad projects that have done a lot of bad reputation across the whole blockchain space. I mean, such good examples, like a great example is like FTX, right? Taking away all the funds of customers, and this definitely demoralized a lot of the blockchain users, and even in some cases those that are entering and starting to learn about blockchain. And as comparing to the market of game industries, where there are already good platforms, there are already good marketing support, as well as there are already content streamers or gamers that are supporting this whole space. One good example, having Twitch TV as a streaming platform, where they are already earning, sort of their income through there. And, in blockchain, everything is just starting. Maybe there's a similar platform that's starting Twitch, that, Binance Live could be the next Twitch, you never know. But at the end of the day, it is still highly inaccessible to people. They still have to pass KYC to log in a Binance account, etc., to log in with their email, to be able to interact with the platform. So much limits and restrictions is also sort of discouraging the older generation. I would say the older generation is 37 or 38 years old and above, because they are not as familiarized as technology. And technology actually do scare people, especially the older generation. And as for the younger generation, because there's so many financial incentives involved, people below the 18 also have a difficulty to join the space. So building a blockchain game within the current space is not as easy because we do not have government supporting it, we do not have schools supporting it, we do not have the public supporting it, and only a certain category of people that are supportive of this, or maybe even certain countries that are supportive of this, may not have the technology, to enter a AAA game setting, as I was saying. So this is what's the difference that I would have said, as compared to a traditional game where you probably can just log into Steam, can access to it easily no matter what age you are. That definitely, the platforms, are not ready yet for Web3. But I think that has started to change. And, even for Ultiverse, you actually don't even need a crypto wallet to sign up to our platform. You just need an email address. You can just sign up from there. And I think this is one part of the things that Ultiverse has did quite well as well, because during the event in Singapore, when I was hosting, at a university, a real life event to let people try out the metaverse, this actually helped me onboarded people easier as compared, if I had to teach someone how to sign up a MetaMask, do their seed phrase, etc., step by step, probably I couldn't onboard more than 10 people. But I think during that event, I onboarded more than 100 plus people onto Ultiverse. And basically, blockchain technology still needs to create accessibility easier, and probably we need a lot of form of government support. Yeah, but happy to hear about what on your side as well, because this is all within my region. So yeah.
Well, me personally, I'm in the USA, and the US has recently been showing that it's not very in support of the crypto industry. And essentially, I'm sure you've seen they sued Binance, they're suing Coinbase. There's a lot of regulatory stuff going around in the wake of FTX and all the scams and weird things that were happening in crypto in 2021 and 2022. It seems that in the US, the regulators want to have more control and more oversight into crypto. But I want to ask you, what do you think needs to change in the industry in order to get more adoption and acceptance from financial institutions and governments?
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, like I said, we basically we all need to support each other, to educate everyone as well. That's my take on right now. Like every time I meet someone, I share, don't randomly buy coins, find out about what the chain does, etc. And I hope that helped. I actually onboarded a few of my friends on the crypto as well. And yeah, hopefully, everyone can do the same, share about what blockchain technology can do, what's the benefits of using certain chains, and this will spread across many other people, and probably will have a better outcome, for people using NFTs as well as the blockchain.
You guys are based on Binance Chain. Folks Finance was first built on Algorand. Now we're branching out one of our products to Binance. How do you see cross-chain developing in the next year or two? Do you think that cross-chain will become standard for every project, or will some projects still remain on a singular chain?
Yeah, for me, I think definitely there will be some projects that's going to fully support their chain, because I do know a lot of maxis out there that only support a particular chain. But I do think it's beneficial for all projects to sort of like explore cross-chain, because right now each community have such a, I would say, insignificant amount of numbers, right? Even BNB at the same time, compared to the world, it's just a very small portion, because Web3 itself, crypto / Web3 itself has such a small community. You can practically know everyone in the space, if you really put the effort into it, at least for Singapore, right? So I'm based on Singapore, like everyone is I would say well connected, but a lot of us actually know each other, and of course it takes time to build. And the benefits of going cross-chain, because for example in Algorand, I do know people that are in Algorand, but they never touch, they never ever touch BNB. So, giving the chance, to explore different chains not only adds up, a more vibrant community, because when you have people to speak to, when you have people to communicate with, and you have a larger number, more things can be done, and more things in a way, as in if we were to host events, you were to host spaces, these are just the small things. If you are able to sort of pull a certain big form of integration, that means pulling a whole community. So let's say, I'm just stating an example, let's say Algorand has X 1,000 number of people, and BNB has like X 5,000. Polygon has another X 2,000, and Ethereum has 100,000 example, and then all of them combining together is definitely better than, just one chain trying to support their whole ecosystem. I used to be in a chain where it may not be familiar to many. It's called XaXa. They are still within their ecosystem as well. Some of them have pulled out, explore other chains. Some of them are still based on their ecosystem. And even though they have good product, they have good stuff going on, it's gasless in a way. All you have to do is take wax, but their economy is not thriving because there's just such limited amount of builders as well as limited number of players. So I think cross-chain is a must, in my opinion, for everyone. Everyone should be exploring how to work with each other, instead of just staying in their own chain. So I'm actually, super excited. XaXa as well, Fox Finance, you guys are doing this because I'm happy to have any Algorand gamers, to know any Algorand gamers as well on board. I can do a few mentions, Zababa Gamer, Soul Move, etc. I think they were one of the Algorand projects that we speak to. Of course, like you said, Daniel from Algorand, head of DeFi, one of my, I would say, highly respected person that I usually communicate with. Is also someone, that I learned about, and also learn different stuff from him as well. And I think it's not only that, be friends from Tezos, friends from other chains, Wax, NFTs, etc. All these, they all have their different perspective, and all of them have their advantages. And this can be shared among the communities, and also shared among the experiences, which can also help to improve on how the developers and us team members, right, within our projects, on how to improve among ourselves. So there's so many different things that we can actually do. Of course, there are also difficulties, when you bring across different chains. Everyone wants to bring them to their own chain, correct? So that's one of the disadvantages, I would say, because you become into a war. You become sort of get into a war zone if the chain does not have the correct mindset, especially if the main team itself from Algorand or like let's say BNB is just like needs is just wanting to pull each other, but they never thought that like one holder can actually do different kinds of things across several chains. So as long as everyone have that mindset, that we should all be learning about each chain, learning about the advantages of each chain, and trying to blend it appropriately into their metaverse game, whichever. I think that is actually a very, very important point in the crypto for the next step. And yeah, I think Ultiverse is not only looking at just XaXa. I think we are also looking at other protocols as well as different kind of layer 1, layer 1, layer 0 as well. I have a meeting at 2:30 a.m. tonight with layer 0 labs. So yeah, we are always exploring, and I think hope one day the space can all come together, especially the gaming space, because I believe in gaming, and come together to build, something incredible. It's gonna take time, but I'm pretty sure it will happen, over a course of maybe 2 to 3 years.
No, I definitely agree. You're totally right about gaming. Gaming has the special power to bring people together that have nothing else in common. And the market is absolutely huge for gaming. I mean, it's almost 7 or 8 times bigger than the movie industry. and the movie industry is really huge. And if you think, okay, everyone sees the new Marvel movie, Star Wars, blah blah blah. Okay, but then how many more people see the most popular games in the world? League of Legends, Fortnite. I could go on the list. What is the BNB community like, and what is the Ultiverse community like, and how do you think those communities are different than?
Okay, sure. Yeah, so I think BNB community is a bit more, I would say, different. So some of them have been in the BNB tree for very long, so they are actually more, I would say, more experienced, within the blockchain industry as well. And there are a lot of people out there who are in across several chains. So the usual cases that I would see would be BNB users are actually in across multiple platforms. So I have BNB friends that have sort of explored different kind of platforms due to their journey towards games, right? So example, we all started with Wax NFTs, and after that we move on to BNB Chain. Through BNB Chain we discover, Ethereum, and then we started doing Ethereum, as well as after Ethereum, we started Solana, and then it goes on and on. So because BNB was one of the early birds, I would say like during 2017, BNB coin had already launched. Most of the users are more experienced there. Where as well, if you're talking about like Solana, there are Solana communities that have not explored other chains as well. And they are only, sticking to Solana, Wax only sticking to Wax. And I think that is one thing that is important within the BNB community, is the willingness to explore other chains. I'm not saying that other chains, they are not willing to explore. It's just that they may not be exposed to so much events, or maybe even other communities as well, because the chain itself does not push people to other chain. But I think in BNB, like what's happening now with XaXa or Algorand, right? You guys are copying onto BNB Chain as well, and BNB Chain is obviously supportive, but it may not be exactly the same, for other chains. So with that, I will also say that BNB users also, they are more so-called I think robust in gaming, as well as also in DeFi, because they have been utilizing, whether it's a Binance platform for a certain kind of time. They have Pancakes, they have explored such other, DeFi multiple platforms such as PancakeSwap, etc., etc. And I think, if we were to give a comparison of which chain is, sort of like more experienced, more bigger, I mean, obviously the only other chain would be Ethereum. I mean, there might be other chains I'm not aware of, but I'm just naming a big name. So like Ethereum is one of them that might also have a very, very robust community. But of course, Ethereum, they actually play a different kind of sort of wavelength, with regards to how the chain is like. Because if you think Ethereum, you're thinking, it previously, especially 2 years ago, you're thinking high gas fees, richer users, people who are, using a tech in a different way. But BNB is more like, smaller projects, smaller communities all coming together, focusing on a different number of projects and coming together, to explore the different kinds of things you can do in BNB chain. But for Ethereum, you're mostly playing with, like let's say you're farming NFTs, airdrops, in Uniswap, etc., etc. So two different kind of things. And of course, BNB gas fees are used. I mean, of course, now you have Arbitrum, that is lowering gas fees for Ethereum. But we previously, BNB was one of the lower gas fees protocol we should have, before Solana was out, before Polygon was out, and everyone was in the chain, exploring different assets and different projects as well. And that was when it was a peak for BNB. Of course, now we have OP BNB coming out, right, which is sort of like a second layer, which is supposed to reduce gas fees. So I'm actually also looking forward to that. And I think as crypto changes, with Polygon up, with Solana up, all the gas fees drop, people start to see BNB as, oh, why is BNB so expensive, right? So I think with this OP BNB, it's also obviously gonna increase their user base because people will start to say, hey, actually BNB also has lower gas fees now, and I think in Web3 right now, everyone is just concerned about the money aspect of things, right? And this will definitely help increase user base, especially gamers, because for gamers, not only for one transaction, it actually counts for us, right? It also counts also not only just the community, but the number of transactions and also the speed of transactions. So like, let's say if we are playing a game, I require 10 transactions. I don't want to wait for 10 seconds or 20 seconds, for one interaction to be made. I think BNB has executed very well at such an aspect that within probably 3 to 5 seconds, if there's no major issues, your transaction will actually go through, and they can actually support high volume as well. So looking forward to the OP BNB, which we are integrating with our MetaMerge SDK, and also looking to see more BNB users, back and exploring the chains. Yeah, I'm a BNB maxi. I think you can hear from what I'm saying. So always supporting BNB, and BNB has been out there for I think up to about 6 to 7 years already, and I think that is actually one of the core crypto communities, at least for me, that I will be sticking with, even though I'm still exploring other chains.
Yeah, I'm really excited to start exploring the BNB community and the ecosystem because I know it's one of the most popular chains and has, I think, the highest usage of almost any chain, if not the highest usage. I want to ask you one more question, and then after this question, if anyone from the audience would like to ask a question, please feel free to request to be a speaker. But this question is, how big is the team that's building Ultiverse, and how would you describe the culture of the company or the team?
Yep. Happy to share that. So team is pretty big. I mean, if we are not including game devs, of course, team has scaled smaller, right? We have moderators, we have BD side, we have marketing, we also have the devs from the contract side, blockchain tech. If you are not including the game design team, I would say about 20 plus would be about that number to 30. But if you are counting, the game design team, etc., I don't have the exact number, but I think it will be close to 100. But I'm not sure to what extent, because I don't have data for that part. But I do know, my side. So regarding, how the team is like, so I think I'm gonna just base it around the founders and the co-founders, right? All of them are really friendly people. Also really passionate people, towards whether is it gaming / AI or even building new content around the metaverse, etc. They all spend a lot of time committed to this project. I do understand, even as I'm speaking right now, there's a lot of things going on within our internal group chat. Of course, that being said, I also think that our core team has a flexibility which you may not find amongst other team members. I think a great example was like we have a colleague called Moonlight, right? So she is one of a person who worked really, really hard, holding spaces, holding AMAs every day. And we saw the founder, so, and the core team sort of made an NFT for her, sorry. And, this actually shows, how much, they actually appreciate the team as well. And not only that, I think, even though we are, in different parts of the country, some of us are based on US, I'm based on Singapore, people from Hong Kong, Australia, etc., etc. We all come together, we sacrifice sort of our time and sleep. I would say in that way. We do not sort of adhere to a proper working hours. Maybe some of the projects they do a 9 to 6, and after 6, is standard of office timing. But we adhere to different timings. Whether is it 1 a.m., 2 a.m. We have a we have a meeting for the team. Every Friday we do have a meeting to sort of follow up our stuff. So to let everyone update. So every one of the team member allocate the specific time, to attend the meeting as well. Even in the different aspect of, like, let's say I have a meeting at 2:30 a.m. I'll just do it. Some of the teams who are based on type, maybe let's say Hong Kong, they are also awake at 2:30 a.m. to attend the meeting. So these are some of the things that our holders don't get to see. And of course our founder, he's also a guy that really never sleeps. So I've seen founders that, once they sort of raise the money and then they sort of slack off. I think our founder in this aspect is definitely not that. He was actually early in the office with me this morning. After lunch, he had several meetings, went back to have even more meetings, probably having meetings right now as I'm doing this space. And yeah, I think the energy of the team is there, even at this bear market, right, where a lot of other projects probably have already faded off. We still continue on and we still drive ourselves forward. Every day we are thinking about how to reward our holders, how to create new content for the project, how to improve our metaverse, how to get things going, etc. And I think the energy of the team is one of the things that probably Ultiverse will succeed over the long run. Of course, like I said, time is always needed. Crypto space moves very fast. People, our holders also expect a lot of things to move fast. But I think time will, show that Ultiverse can actually deliver. And I hope that I can push out more new content and share more stuff with Ultiverse holders as well. And yeah, that's definitely one thing I'm trying to always communicate with the team as well. So yeah, great team in my opinion. And last but not least, always have to thank the dev side. So recently, we had a sort of let's say a partner project doing some sort of mint, etc. It didn't turn out too well. But so far I have not any experienced any major flip-flops, with our Ultiverse dev. So very, very impressed with the contract team as well as the dev team on our side. And they do executions pretty fast as well. So yeah, this is my personal opinion as well. It's really something that I say from the heart, not something that I'm a very honest person. So this is something that I'm sharing about, which I think they actually deserve recognition. And I think one of the worst things in this space is that the devs really do not have any recognition at all. And I always try to mention them as much as I can, because this is really the effort they put in. Sometimes they do stay at 6-7 a.m. People do not see, people do not understand, but I'm with them. I do sleep very late sometimes, so definitely know they are working super hard on our project.
Yeah, and I totally relate to what you're saying about working outside of what people would consider the normal hours. We do that here at Folks too, and the team is super dedicated and super hardworking, and that's why we're able to put out new products at the rate that we do. I don't know another DeFi company that puts out innovative products as fast as we do, and I'm just proud of the team for that. Exactly. People will be up late at night, early in the morning. They just do what they have to do to get that little extra bit of work in. And I think right now in the bear market, any project or protocol or company or game or DAO or anything that is working extra hard is going to see those benefits, when the next wave comes into crypto, the next wave of users, next wave of adoption, next wave of money.
Yeah, then I'm also very, very super curious. There's so many questions about Ultiverse, but I'm pretty sure people also want to hear a little bit about XALGO. We have some of our holders here right now. What are you guys looking to do with XALGO? Maybe you can just do a very, very simple explanation. Once it kicks into the BNB community. I know you guys are launching the token during end of the month, so happy to hear a little about that as well.
Yeah, I would be happy to tell the audience here. So if you have never used Algorand before, you may not know that Algorand has a chain-wide governance system which you can stake algo, vote on, governance decisions, and you'll actually earn yield from that. Um, we at Folks, being one of the leading DeFi protocols on Algorand, we enjoy a DeFi boost. So over the past few quarters, the governors of Algorand have voted to allocate more of the rewards that are distributed through governance to DeFi protocols. So that lets us have a 15% yield on algo that people can participate in and earn from our platform. So what we want to do is take that yield and expand it into Binance Chain, and we'll be doing that with XAlgo. So essentially, you can bring algo from Algorand through Wormhole onto Binance, and you'll mint XAlgo, and then you can go and trade that. You can go and put it in the liquidity pool that we'll have set up with a big DEX partner. It's going to be incentivized, so it's a very powerful yield farming tool. I mean, potentially you could earn 15% from governance, and that would be if you bridge your algo into Binance, and then you can earn trading fees by putting in the liquidity pool, and you can actually then stake your tokens in the liquidity pool to earn more yield. So you could earn yield from 3 places at once. So I think this is just super exciting. It's the first time anything from Algorand has been bridged over to Binance, and anything. It's the first algo derivative on Binance, actually. So this is the first time that not Binance, actually. Let me be specific. Binance Chain, BNB Chain. So this is the first time that community and the people that you've built your protocol around can actually access exposure to algo and exposure to this yield. So we're super excited about it, and just to join the DeFi space on BSC, and we're grateful. I'm personally grateful that your project and you were receptive and welcoming to us, and that really meant a lot as we're going into this new community.
Yeah, for sure. Like I said, we are happy to support anyone that is going to be in the space for the long run, especially if it's with good intentions, not bad intentions. Yeah, and I mean like I it's not like I have zero connection with algo. I did bought FIFA packs as well. Using, I think it was a Para wallet or something like that. And I do have Algorand somewhere around in my account, just that I don't utilize it as much. So you're happy, to actually have XAlgo into BNB Chain. Probably I would have more utilities for me to explore XAlgo with in future. And I think that's something that definitely a lot of the BNB project needs. I think this bear market has brought a lot of boredom within, especially the alphas, the people that have been in the space for a very, very long time. They are looking for the next big excitement, I would say, in the crypto space. Previously, 2 years back, it was GameFi, and everyone got so hyped up, then AI came, and now people are looking, what's the next big thing. You never know what can happen. There's always a very, very fast boom whenever it happens. People want to catch the wave, they might be too late. So I always try to get in early as well. For GameFi, I was pretty early. For AI, not as early as I hope so, but I do explore different AI stuff as well. So always, especially for all those out there, always explore and logically think, what can do well, and always have a part in every chain or every things that you are comfortable with. I think that is always good to explore. And for me, for Algorand, I'm pretty sure you guys have done big things. I've heard a few things about Algo that is pretty interesting. I think there was something called Algo Race, which I think Daniel showed me before. FIFA packs, which I have purchased as well. Looking to see what XAlgo will do, and what we can do with XAlgo. That's definitely one of the things that I'm looking at, and pretty sure some of the BNB communities out there will be interested as well once mentioned to them. But I think some of them may not have heard of XAlgo yet. But I think with enough coverage and enough spaces, definitely more and more people have XAlgo, and hopefully one day Algo and BNB can work together hand in hand. I'm pretty looking forward to that.
Yeah, definitely. We're this XAlgo product is just the first time that these two chains can even interact. And like you said, you bought some FIFA packs on Algo back during the World Cup. If you still had Algo in your wallet, you could go and just mint XAlgo once it launches. Now your liquidity and your value will be in your home, like your home chain. So you kind of can keep this is just a great benefit for both DeFi ecosystems. The TVL of Algorand goes up. The active users of Algorand may go up if people from Binance become interested. They purchase Algo on Binance. They send it to their wallet. They bridge it into XAlgo, and now they can use it on Binance Chain. And if you're not someone who's buying Algo or wants to use an Algorand wallet, well, then people can simply buy XAlgo on a DEX, on BSC, go and trade that, use that, earn the yield. And actually what they can do, they don't even need to mint it. You can buy it off the DEX, and then you could actually unmint it. So basically you send it back to Folks Finance on through the portal, and then you'll actually be able to get the yield that was accruing on those tokens. So one thing that's cool about XAlgo is that because of the 15% yield from governance, the token actually will go up in value all the time. It's an interest-bearing token because when it's minted and when it's brought back onto Algorand, the difference in time will have accrued the yield. And so it's a great tool for people to, if they want to speculate on the price of Algo, they can buy it on BSC, hold it, trade it. And then if they like, if Algo made a move upward, okay, great. Now you can either sell it, or you can even go a step further and bring it back into Algorand and kind of double up on the returns there. So really excited for that. And we've been talking, and we may do some type of giveaways, hopefully, to your community to get people involved. So if you're part of the Ultiverse community, keep an eye out for that. No promises, but we've been talking about it. And yeah, just really excited to join your ecosystem and learn more about what you guys do over there. I know very much about the Algorand community, and now it's time to learn about BSC. So I'm really excited for that.
Yeah, sure. So happy to hear what you have said. But we do also hold multiple spaces. I think like Twitter spaces now has been pretty low in numbers. I was attending Farouk's Twitter space. It used to be a few thousands. I mean, it has all bite down. Real Jonas Black, etc. All these top gaming influencers is Web3. Like I would consider them top gaming influencers in Web3, or have all sort of like also drop in numbers. And that's why we are also doing spaces across with several projects. I actually have one upcoming as well. But it's a gamified project. Within our sort of like integration, of our electric ship NFT with their game. I'm also happy to get you guys involved in future spaces as well. So larger number can also hear about XAlgo. And I also do have some people feedback that they were put down on the spaces as well for some reason during this time. I think our Ultiverse handle was also put down. But yeah, I'm pretty sure Twitter will improve the spaces next time, and hopefully next time we can have more listeners towards our spaces.
Yeah, it was great to have you on the space. I want to say thank you, XaXa, for coming on. Is there anything you'd like to leave the audience with? One last comment that you have?
Yeah. Whether you guys are from Algorand, or Ultiverse, of course, we have some holders. Like say, building takes time. Of course, for our electricity holders, definitely we're gonna bring value back as much as we can. Especially for me, I'll focus on building the brand, building the electricity PFP NFT. Or of course, and also to focus on building the metaverse portion. I hear you. right? Our team hears you as well. I also occasionally feedback to the team, and I hope you guys can do hear this as well. And for our Algorand community, I'm definitely excited to explore more about it as well. I've been talking in one of the Algorand spaces in their Discord. Like I have been trying to understand their product, understand what they're doing, and also learning about their community. And it's a bit different, I would say. You guys have a more close-knit community. And the people I was mixing with, from Algorand were from Indonesia, Singapore, Malaysia, etc., etc. And I know, Algorand also have been doing a great job. Whether is it in their DeFi aspect, and I know you guys also have a huge treasury. There's something to take note of, right? And at the end of the day, I do see different forms of integration, like for Algorand and BNB. Of course, takes time to explore, and if a game can actually get into Algorand ecosystem, I'll be happy. Think of how XAlgo can be utilized as well. We have a lot of games upcoming, and happy to share them, with Fox Finance regarding this. And yeah, thanks for all the people on the space right now who have been listening from start to end. Even with the DC happening, etc. And I have to thank you for all of your time. All of this, is still I always say in all the spaces, your time is most important in someone's lives. Anyone that actually takes their time, to come into our spaces, etc., is all appreciated.
Yeah, 100% agree. Thank you everyone for being here. Keep your eye out for XAlgo launching on July 1st. It's the first time, like I said before, you'll be able to bring Algo to and from BSC. So this is going to be amazing. And, because of the speed of both the chains, you'll be able to bring assets and value, from Algorand and into Algorand, and from BSC and into BSC within, a matter of seconds, probably five seconds or so. So it's going to be a big thing. We're really excited. Make sure if you're in this space and you're in the Algorand community, you follow XaXa, you follow Ultiverse DAO. Make sure you keep up with their announcements. If you're from the Ultiverse or the BSC community, give Folks Finance a follow so you can keep up with what we're doing. And when when we launch XAlgo, you're going to want to be early, because those rewards and incentives will be really great for the early birds. So definitely keep your eye out for that. If you're a yield farmer, if you're a DeFi person or a trader, give us a follow, put on notifications so you don't miss it. And I just want to say, XaXa, one more time, thank you so much for being here. And I hope you have a great night.
Yes, you too, man. Thanks for the time on your podcast. Is very, very, very honored to be on stage.
All right. Thanks, everyone. We'll see you next time. Bye.